Welcome back to the box office, guys. We got another episode today. We got an interesting matchup as far as a fight that we should keep an eye out. Should provide some fireworks, should provide good entertainment value, and I honestly think that this fight has a chance to not just exceed expectations, but just be a good show. Something to look forward to this weekend as far as the fight game goes. It comes by the way of Maurice Hooker versus Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz is the heavy favorite in this bout. He's as heavily favored as a plus 1250, meaning you have to bet $1,250 for Vergil to win in order for you to get $100 back. Maurice Hooker is a hefty underdog. He is at a plus 600, meaning if you bet $100, you will get 600 back. You walk out of there with $700 in total. The over under for this fight is 7.5 rounds. That's an interesting number that was set, interesting line. Whether it holds up to fight day is to be determined, but as of now, that's where we're looking at. So let's take a couple, let's peep in and dive in a little bit more into this fight. So we got Vergil Ortiz on the left-hand side. He is a Vegas favorite, as I mentioned. He is 16-0, 16 knockouts. All those wins are coming by stoppage. He is 5'10 with a 70-inch reach. All right, fighting out of Grand Prairie, Texas. He was born in Dallas, Texas, now fighting out of Riverside, California. His last fight was against Samuel Vargas. Went 7 rounds. He won by KO. Every fight has ended by KO. He's only seen the 5th round 3 times, which goes to show 4 times. I'm sorry, which goes to show you the over/under in rounds is very interesting as far as the Maurice Hooker fight. Maurice Hooker, on the other hand, is 5'11", listed as an inch taller. He is 31. He is also out of Dallas, Texas. 80-inch reach. All right, so he has a 10-inch reach advantage, which should play into his favor if he knows how to use it. His last fight was against Uriel Perez, where he won a TKO victory in the 1st round. Prior to that, he lost a unification title fight against Juan Carlos Ramirez. He lost by TKO in the 6th round, which is why I personally find that 7.5 line very, very interesting. All right, let's move over to the keys of victory, guys, and we can talk a little bit, discuss a little bit more of what these guys have to do in order to win or pull off the upset. So, like always, we start off with the favorite, the Vegas favorite. These are the 3 keys. First and foremost, Vergil, you got to set the pace. All right, you are a volume puncher. You like to come forward. Stick to what works with you. You do see in spots, you are a very talented boxer. As you look at that gif that I put up there, he does use his footwork to set up his punches. So it's going to be very interesting if he can get Maurice Hooker up against the corner and what he does when Maurice Hooker is up against the ropes. It's going to be kind of a chess match to see who can give in to each other's style. So you got to set the pace, Vergil, and the more you push for your pace, the more likely it's going to happen. If you come forward, Maurice Hooker is the type of guy that's there to get hit. He hits, but also gets hit. So it should make for an interesting, fun matchup. He is you would like to say he's a boxer, but he does get in there and mix it up a lot, which should be very, very interesting and stylistically wise for a Vergil Ortiz. 2. Don't wait on your attack, all right? Don't overthink things. If you're good at coming forward, just don't wait for him to, be caught off guard for a certain punch, a certain setup. Just go in there, fight your fight, attack, move forward, and just don't wait. You give this man time to think. You give him space. He can start landing his own punches and might make you rethink your strategy. So whatever your strategy is going into this fight, don't wait. Get in there. Fight your fight, be comfortable, be that volume puncher, set up those hard punches, use that footwork to land the specific punches that you want to land, and you'll be fine, all right? Nothing to worry about as far as that goes, as far as your offense goes. And one more thing I will say is I want to say third tip is tag the body. The reason I say tag the body is because if for some reason, let's say Maurice Hooker, you guys are in a tough, rough and tough phone booth style type fight, you're going to want to invest to the body to open up stuff upstairs. And not only that, you want to be able to wear down your opponent over time. I think if you start tagging them in the body around that, 5, 6, 7 round marker, kind of where Vegas has it, you'll start seeing the fruits of your labor. You everything that you planted early on in the fight, by tagging them in the body, by setting the pace, and really putting the pressure on your opponent is going to start to show. I'm a firm believer that if you stick to this game plan, you should be able to get them, midway through the fight. Sammy Vargas, the guy, your previous opponent, he's as tough as nails. I know Hooker is game. Maurice Hooker is game. He has a lot to lose. But I do see him not fading, but getting hit a little bit too much. And when you're getting hit with someone of Vergil Ortiz's caliber, Vergil Ortiz's power, I don't see it ending fairly well for Maurice Hooker if you can get him trapped into that type of fight. All right, so with that being said, set the pace, come forward. Don't wait for your opponent, be active, be pressuring, and then always tag the body and invest so you can start breaking them down early in the fight so you can really see the rewards of you investing to the body. You do these 3 things, you'll be fine, and you'll be going on to winning by KO. Vegas actually does think that you will win by KO. The odds are still not that favorable if you bet for a Vergil Ortiz. I think it was at a minus 400, 450 for Vergil Ortiz winning by knockout. So, not to jinx it, Vergil Ortiz should come out of this fight with his hands raised by the way of KO, setting the pace, not waiting, and tagging the body, and he should look very, very impressive in this fight if he can do all 3. Now going and looking into the Vegas underdog. The Vegas underdog, Maurice Hooker. So, here's a couple tips that I got for you. Maurice Hooker, this is going to be a tough fight. This kid comes to fight, he comes to bang. You have to be locked and loaded, all right? Don't let one silly mistake hinder from all the work you're doing throughout the whole round. If you're setting them up, jabbing them, staying away, boxing them, or maybe you are fighting in the inside, whatever your plan is, make sure that you stick to it. All right, stay focused, stay composed. Whatever storm comes your way, make sure you can weather that storm and keep moving forward with whatever you have planned as far as game planning. And that goes back to my second point that I have for you: plan, but don't be predictable. Be a planner, but not predictable. What that means is if you, for some reason, let's say you have a specific punch you feel like is going to land after he throws a specific jab, right hand makes a certain movement. If you feel like you can tag him at that specific moment, okay, plan it out. But don't let it be your only source of offense. Okay, so if you're planning to counter a right hand with a check hook, for example, or, whatever the case is, a jab with the overhand right, whatever it is, don't wait on that too long. Don't make it predictable to where you, from the round 1, you think that overhand right is going to land and you throw it every 15 seconds, because then it becomes predictable. All right, you're going to want to mix up that offense. You want to stay focused and plan. That plan that you had, you want to stick to it. Get locked and loaded. And, maybe it is boxing from the outside and you're boxing on the outside and you feel like you can have success. No, stay dialed in. Fight your fight. If you think like you're fighting good on the inside, fight on the inside. If that's your game plan, fight your game plan. Stay locked and loaded, as I keep mentioning. But don't let a distraction or a feel of comfort let you lose that round, let you lose that fight because you didn't stick to your game plan. You're gonna have to be very disciplined in that aspect as far as sticking to your game plan. If it's sticking and moving, very, very disciplined. If it's fighting in the inside in spurts, whatever it is, just make sure that you stay committed and you go through it, full-heartedly and trust the team, trust the game plan that you set aside for this bout. And you'll be okay. You'll be putting yourself in a good position to pull off the upset. Now, third, don't block everything. I know when you're fighting on the inside or, you see someone coming, it's easy to just keep those hands up. eventually one of those hard punches will land if you're blocking everything. What you want to do is you want to use head movement. All right, you want to use that head movement in the bob and weave. If you parry a couple punches, but don't make it predictable to where they can load up on you. Even though you have gloves up to block that punch, they load up, and some of that power is being felt because they're just unloading on you. All right, so don't block everything. Stay dialed in, stay locked in, and then plan, but don't be predictable on your approach to this fight. You do those things and you'll put yourself in a good position to pull off the upset, which would be a big upset for those who did or do decide to bet on Maurice Hooker. My prediction for this bout is I like Vergil Ortiz. I'm sorry for, I mean, as much as I love Maurice Hooker and what he brings to the table, I like what Vergil brings. This being the first fight for Maurice Hooker at 147, if I'm not mistaken, should make it for, you know, change of weight. He might feel more comfortable. Maybe he can take more of a punch at this weight, because we have seen Maurice Hooker be chinny at times. He's gotten dropped before. He got stopped in his one loss. So maybe he can take a better punch. The thing with taking a punch from people at a lighter weight classes and someone like Vergil Ortiz is that Vergil Ortiz basically carries stone in his hands, and he is a heavy hitter. He breaks down his opponents like no other. We've seen him finish fights in the first round. We've seen him finish fights middle of the rounds, and we've seen him finish fight. I think the latest it's gone is the 7th round. Side note, there is an over-under bet of 7.5 rounds for this bout. Considering Maurice Hooker was stopped in round 7, I believe 7 or 8 against Jose Ramirez. I have to fact check that. The fight was actually stopped in round 6. So the fact that they're giving Vergil Ortiz one more round, to me, is kind of interesting, because I do feel like he's a more physical opponent than Jose Ramirez. Maybe he can take a better punch at 147, but if you get hit enough by a Vergil Ortiz, you will go down. So I do like the under 7.5 as of right now. That line might change as we get closer to fight night. That's the reason why I like doing these videos the week of, because you do get closer odds. But Vergil Ortiz by knockout. One tip I will say for Vergil Ortiz is when coming in, when cutting off the ring, don't go in a straight line. Move that head, come in jabbing, and you'll be fine. You'll be able to disguise and mask your offense and when you're going to shoot and let go of your punches. So with that being said, I got Vergil Ortiz Jr. winning the fight, winning by knockout. And as a side note, side bet, I kind of like the under 7.5. Could go either way, because Maurice Hooker is a very talented fighter. He is a boxer, and he is there to get hit, but he does hit his opponent. So this is definitely Vergil Ortiz's toughest opponent to date, but Maurice Hooker is game when he comes to fight. I just feel like Vergil Ortiz should be able to handle, especially with the expectations and the bar that he set before. With that being said, those are my predictions. That's my video. Please like, please subscribe to my channel. And box office, well, let's talk the fight game, guys. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this this reaches round 8? You think it finishes before 7.5? Let's talk about it down below. Once again, the box office, please like, please subscribe. Take care, guys.